What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today, and welcome back to the Aussie Sim Racing Series F3 Xbox One League. Here we are at the pinnacle of motorsport. Supercars has the Bathurst 1000, IndyCar has the Indianapolis 500. For F1 cars, it's Monaco. It always has been. There's the driver standings from the previous round at Spain. If you haven't seen that, plus the previous rounds, be sure to go check that out before you come and see this video. But yeah, this was going to be an interesting kind of race. What can I say, really? I was a little bit nervous, if I'm honest with you guys and girls. I mean, yes, I have driven around Monaco, but this is probably one of the first times I've done it with the wheel. I mean, yes, in past previous Formula One games, I've used the keyboard or even the controller or whatnot, but this is going to be a challenge as I just crossed the pit lane exit. Obviously a great start to this session, but I don't know exactly how that works. It invalidated the lap time. We were going through the pit lane. I don't understand how you can validate it, but we're off and running, and yeah, wondering whether there was any stewards' inquiries. Well, there was, but unfortunately, they didn't put out the results for those findings yet, so they're still a bit unknown as we just go past our teammate there. It seemed a bit unusual at the time when I ghosted through him that maybe something was up, and he's on board with Prime as oh, he just gets a little bit of a whack from Lego Rob in the Haas entry, but you see they just manages to pull out of the way and lets me through. But this is just one of those tracks, really, that you cannot afford to get it wrong. Get it wrong, any of these walls around you, they are waiting for you. As we just begin our, well, I bought it in the first run because, let's just say, traffic was a big factor in that, but I'd already screwed up the first part of the lap anyway. I'm missing a few of my points there, as you see that Lego Rob's just lagging everywhere. That wasn't not ideal, his traffic around, but we did go fastest in the first sector anyway, but yeah, coming around the hairpin, actually get caught behind Schulte, the Aussie, coming around the last couple of corners. But we should be able to set a fastest lap here, and we do. We go to 1:13.2 as a, well, oh, okay, he just randomly appears out of nowhere. It looked as if Schulte just randomly crashed into a wall, but all of a sudden he lagged and he's just back to normal. So he's on board with my teammate, going around the hairpin just a little bit too much. He's tagged the wall there, lost the half of his front wing, but you'll be able to, I think you'll be able to see here. See that, just what happened there. Look at the bottom right. It just changed from red to green. I kid you not. And it's just gone orange, yellow again. Yeah, but that was a little bit of a glitch, I guarantee you, because he wasn't the only one. Also, you might be able to see from the bottom there, you'll be able to see Lockie's name just like leaving the session, joining, leaving the session, joining. That was pretty much his night. Unfortunately, I think he had a few internet issues where he was getting he was getting joining, then getting kicked out, then joining again and getting kicked out, as Prime has to wait for me as I come back into the garage to put in another set. And oh, you see that Ferrari, guys, not exactly rushing, let's put it that way. He actually ghosted through the Red Bull area where Schulte the Aussie actually come back in. So yeah, this online stuff has just got some weird interesting stuff in it, let's put it that way. But yeah, we came back into the lane and put on another set of ultra soft tyres. I felt maybe that the lap wasn't ideal. As you can see that we're actually in position 2 on the grid. I mean, yes, I'd be happy if it was pole position, but again, I don't mind if it's second, as we take it nice and cautiously compared to our first run coming out of the pit lane. But yeah, here we go. We're setting off now I was planning to do at least maybe a couple of runs, maybe at least 2. Head down into turn 1. Got to get this corner right. That's Sandavot. Now coming up Beau Rivage. Fast flowing circuit now into Massenet. Round it, there's the casino on the left there, but we just hit the barrier too much, and yeah, I get the exact same glitch as my teammate. The front wing was damaged, and then all of a sudden it was just normal again. So I was actually going to come back in and pit and hopefully fix the damage, but anyway, we continue on, and I'd have another crack. We still had a bit of fuel up our sleeve, so we've got nothing to lose here, really, as again we come up good old Beau Rivage. Nearly lose the car there. I was extra cautious this time around. It missed that by a long way, but yeah, you can see there we just go fastest in the first sector as Schulte de Aussie's now retired from qualifying. But he didn't do it by himself. Well, he didn't actually retire, he just crashed out at turn 1 at Sandavos. Like I said, you could easily stuff up the first corner and the wall is awaiting you, but come around the swimming pool section, nearly lose the rear end. That actually blew my lap as well. I could, to be fair, Frank, I could have easily continued on the lap and maybe see what had happened, but in the end, I went for one more lap just to see what it. We improved our time by only a little bit, but as we cut back a little bit further, this is an interesting one between Singuitis Prime and SpagBol. This is the first time I think I've ever seen 2 cars going through the pit lane together, side by side. That's a first, but yeah, cutting back to me. At this point, I didn't, well, before the tunnel section, I realised that I didn't have enough fuel to complete the lap, so I thought I'd chuck it back to Ridge, but once we come out of the Novell chicane, that was pretty much the end of me, as we had to crawl back into the lane, and I may have accidentally interfered with Roxman's lap there, so I do apologise for that, Roxman, if I interfered with your lap, but anyway, we just came back in the lane, and yeah, that was pretty much that. I felt really that pole position was there for the taking, but in the end, it just wasn't to be. It's just, I wouldn't say I was annoyed. I mean, yes, it is on the front row, but out of all that, we didn't even get to any of the fastest sectors. Just felt so weird, but in the end, Sato gets pole position. I think that's his first for the year, so congrats to him. It's a Ferrari 2 and 3 with my teammate there in P3. Championship leader, RuthenicBird, is in position 5, so he's got a lot of work to do considering what happened last time in Spain. He didn't qualify well there either, so again, Lockie's having major internet issues, but as we get to the race, there's a little bit of light rain around, but as you can probably tell from the strategy here, I just had a quick look at the my setup there and the race strategy. You actually see the forecast. It was, first 2 parts were going to be like light showers, and then it would fine up later in the race. Like, it wouldn't affect me too badly, so we just had to hope that we didn't crash into the wall, break any part of our front wing, or break the car even, so it was just cautious as. I even tampered with the setup just to make sure it was the right one for the wet weather conditions. As a few guys actually got disqualified from the formation lap. I just banged the wall there at turn 3, Massenet, which wasn't ideal. He's on board with Prime of just showing he proved that I actually hit the wall. So we lost a few. There was about 3 of them, SpagBol, Roxman and Frizy, I think, were the ones that were disqualified. But yeah, like I said, I mean, the front row is not technically too bad. I mean, I like to avoid the chaos at the back. You either had to qualify at the front or start from the back and avoid all the carnage into turn 1, because it can get chaotic. I have seen Formula 1 races, it can get chaotic. But we're all set for the pinnacle, the Monaco Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Again, it's a long haul like Spain, but let's do it around the streets of Monaco. It's not a too bad start, actually, compared to Sato, but the teammates had an actual better start, and he's going to take position 2 off me. So great start from a teammate. Nearly get rounded up as well by SpagBol. But we survived the first corners anyway, but now Prime's looking at the race lead, and all three of us really, we've all tagged the wall there at Massenet. Managed to get away with a bit of damage. Well, the engineer actually told me that it might have had a minor bit of front wing damage, but wasn't really too bad. But yeah, we come around now into the Lowe's hairpin. Well, I don't even know if it's a Lowe's hairpin, but Grand Hotel hairpin, whatever you want to call it. But there's a big moment from a teammate. I think he may have damaged his front wing coming around the swimming pool section. And at this point at the party chat, he told me to go by. So he let me through, carrying around the last couple of corners. And now we're back up to where we started as we finish our first lap around Monaco in the, well, showery weather, let's put it that way. But now was just a case of let's just see what we can do in the wet weather. I mean, no, I'm not perfect in the wet weather, as Lego Rob's retired from the race, so it must have had a big moment. I'm not sure exactly where that happened, but yeah, let's have a look at the onboards. He's on board with the pole sitter, Sato, from his start. Wasn't really too bad a start as well. Look, nearly like mine, really, but into turn one, there's a nice clean run up into Beau Rivage, coming up into Beau Rivage now. And now coming into Massenet. You can see there Prime looking around the outside. He just slides it into the wall. Manages to nearly lose the back end. And manages to keep going. Only just, but you can see there Prime looking up the inside. He goes to defensive. And it just holds on. And he's on board with my teammate. Here's how he started compared to mine. Yeah, again, not too much wheel spin there, so it's into the first corner. Gets second place off myself, but as always we come up to basically the well, we wouldn't say the crash spot, but where everybody just tagged the wall a little bit. So Prime really just glided his way through the wall there, not through the wall, against the wall. Nearly looked up the just nearly enough a gap there to get up the inside of Sato, but in the end he just lost. It's in there, as you can see there. This is the big moment. Just tags the wall a little bit and then tags the left-hand side wall coming for turn 13, and just cuts the corner a little bit. Gets a track warning. But like I said, at this point he just let me go, considering he had a bit of front wing damage. There we go, up in back into P2. See what we can do against Sato. And he's on board with our championship leader, RuthenicBird. Let's see how his start was. Yeah, too much wheel spin maybe. He's getting surrounded by Schulte the Aussie, and I think that might be Lego Rob as well. Yes, it is. So, oh, it was a big moment there, and he's lost spots to Roxman, and I think Aikaya was as well, but not really an ideal start. And as you can see there, we just cut the corner at the Nobel chicane. Just went in a little bit too deep there. I mean, yes, I was still feeling out the conditions of this setup anyway. Like I said, I did change it a little bit as my teammate's now in the lane for his first pit stop, as we set the fastest lap of the race, 28.3. Sato was in the 29, so wasn't really too bad, as probably the reason why my teammate is in the lane. He's damaged his front wing even more, so decided to change up his strategy and come into the lane to change the front wing. But, yeah, not a great start for my teammate. You see there, 129.1 was what Sato had said before I beat his time by about nearly 7-8 tenths. But yeah, front wing change, new set of intermediates, and away he goes. And I think it's one of the McLarens. I'm not sure what was going on there, whether that was no, something weird. Might have been a pit lane penalty or something. It didn't really look like a pit stop. I could be wrong, but yeah, cut back to myself. Sato's just again lagging everywhere. If you're wondering why the whole track has got the green flag, I literally have no idea. I've no idea what just happened. As Prime does it again, just tags the part of the right front wing. Coming around to back at turn 12. So we ride the curb nicely then. Probably not ideal to ride the curbs too much around here. I mean, some you can ride around, but not all of them. Yeah, but myself and Sato, we actually started to pull away from RuthenicBird. So have a little moment then. Nearly lost it around Massenet. Managed to save it, but my teammate's back in the lane again for the second time, I think, this race. I don't think he's the only one there. But, this might have something to do with it again. I think this is just coming out of the lane. Oh, maybe not. No, this is just a continuation of what just happened earlier, what he did with the front wing around to back. But here he is coming in for his second stop of the race. And yet again, probably changing his front wing and putting on a new set of intermediates. His race, not ideal. But yeah, we're keeping back on lap 6. We're keeping steady here with Sato. So, like I said, we're pulling away from RuthenicBird, and it was just us two really battling to see who would blink first nearly. So Sato looks like he may have touched the wall then, coming through the tunnel section. Looked a bit suspicious there. What happened there? Looks like may have just only tagged the wall a little bit, but look at it. It's just so gently around here, around the casino section. Nearly lose the rear end again, but it was just hard to find a spot to not. I didn't want to literally ruin both our races by doing a big dive bomb, so just decided to settle in. I mean, yes, we probably were losing a bit of time to RuthenicBird, but we're through the tunnel section again. I think he's just made it even worse, and debris is just flying everywhere coming out of the tunnel. So I did say may have damaged his front wing. Well, that might have just damaged it a little bit more, and actually my engineer told me that he may have a bit of front wing damage, so that was definitely not ideal for Sato. But coming around lap 8, nearly tagged the wall again around Massenet. But it was literally so close to binning it in the wall. I was just so nervous. I did not want to bin this car around the streets of Monaco in really one of my first attempts in an online league race. SpagBol goes a little bit quicker, 27.4. Just tags the wall a little bit. We actually decided to look for a dive bomb down here at the Noble chicane, but backed out of it at the last second. And actually my race Jeff told me to actually change up my strategy, which I agreed for. And then coming towards the end of the lap, you'll be able to see that DRS is enabled. So at this point, I knew that Sato would come in when he saw that. And yeah, both top 2 leaders are in. I think that might be Roxman, because Captain Farah's not here. But yeah, we're the first ones to blink as we start on the ultra soft tyres. I knew I jumped Sato because he had the front wing damage, but he's going onto the super soft tyres, so definitely a different strategy there for Sato. Probably doing the complete opposite of what we're doing, but yeah, we basically return effectively back out in the lead. Here's the replay of Sato coming into the lane, and there's us leaving the lane and taking the lead of the race. He's had the front wing change and the super soft tyres being put onto the car. As my teammate is in the pits again for the 3rd time. I can guarantee you, I think this time around, that this was not a front wing change. This was definitely for a tyre change. Yes, it is. So he's doing the same as Sato, going onto the super soft tyres. There's a little bit of front wing damage, but he was just very cautious around here because the track wasn't exactly dry enough. But as he said, Roxman lets us through. He's now a lapped car, so he might have had a few moments around the streets of Monaco. But like I said, it was just cautious around this track, as I might just see my teammates back in the lane again. Very cautious around this track, as yeah, crosses the pit lane as he coming out of the pits. So I'm not sure whether that was from the previous lap or not, but just runs a little bit too deep, and he's made his front wing just a little bit more worse. And now coming around to back, and now it's all gone now. So he's had to change up the strategy, and he's back in the lane again for the 4th time, I think, in this race, but the 3rd front wing change. You can imagine when I was hearing all this, like he had to come in to change the front wing in the party chat. I just could not believe it. I thought this was Ferrari's best chance, considering what happened in real life in 2017 with Sebastian Vettel winning and Kimi Räikkönen in 2nd. So he just crosses the pit lane exit, and yeah, basically forgets about it once he's got that. So he's got a 5-second stop-go penalty for crossing that line. But a little bit of a moment then, coming around to back, and somehow managed to get away with it as then we cut back on with a teammate. It's actually going around the outside of Hyperduce. Makes it a bit easy for him. He's on the soft tyre, so he's going long. He just takes the wall. Seriously, Prime. Seriously? That's another front wing damage. And here we go, coming around Casino. This was a big, another lag spike here, and all of a sudden, Sato's just come from nowhere and taken the race lead. I thought, not this again. After what happened in Spain, and again, if you haven't seen it, be sure to go check it out. After what happened in Spain, not to have this happen again, the 2nd race in a row, it's just not on. And he's on board with Sato. As you can see there, he just basically, all of a sudden, was in front of him, and then I'm behind him. So I don't really know what to say. I was probably a little bit furious as I just tagged the wall around the Novell chicane, but thankfully we didn't lose much time. So it's just now a case of getting their head down as we now set the fastest lap of the race. 17.3. Let's just say I was a little bit angry after all that, but yeah, now cut back on board with my teammate as they're coming around the Novell chicane. Yellow flags. Oh, Frizzy's around. I think he's nearly done the exact same thing as me, but coming around the final corner. He's just tagged that barrier then, and he's just made his front wing even worse. And just to rub it all in, he's just hit the wall at the back again, so that's all brilliant, and he's back in the lane again. What a shot. What a surprise. At this point I was thinking, please tell me you're saving not using all the front wings. Because frankly, if I damage my front wing, there'll probably be no front wings left. I know this is a game, but there probably wouldn't be any front wings left. But here he is back in again. He's serving the 5-second stop-go penalty for crossing the white line. Not really bothering, but that was probably a bit gibberish there, but not even bothering to go the normal way out. But puts the soft tyres on and does a front wing change, and are you kidding me? Are you dead set kidding me? He's just done it again. Copying another 5-second stop-go penalty. And he's back in the lane again. Does not surprise me whatsoever. But this is him coming out of... Not again. He's serious. It's 3 times now. That's 3 times he's cut that chicane. He's not even bothered. I'll slow it down, but now... So I think it was a bit of a moment coming up to back, and then all of a sudden the safety car was deployed. This is actually our first ever safety car of the Aussie Sim Racing F3 season. Just if you remember back to the Australian video, we only had virtual safety cars. But this was our actual first safety car. So yeah, and this time the teammate was in again, but this time it was dead set for real. For another set of tyres. I've lost count how many times he's actually pitted, but he's going to put on the ultra soft tyres that have probably been used a little bit, probably for about 1 lap. But he's got a little bit of front wing damage as well, but he's on board with Frizy. He's catching up to the safety car queue, and oi! Thank God for Hyperduce ghosting there, but Nelly collected the safety car as well, which wasn't ideal, so had to load Hyperduce through, and nearly Kaiwas did the exact same thing. thankfully, he got away with it, but this was all just chaos, let's just put it that way. So he goes by Roxman, he's just ghosting through the McLarens. I wouldn't be surprised if the McLarens are ghosting through the safety car. It was all happening, let's put it that way, but yeah, see there, Fry's been told to pass Roxman, and Roxman just lets him through. Surely everything will be sorted by the end of this, but doesn't really matter much. But now for us, while that was happening, we actually decided to come into the pit lane, and are you kidding? Are you actually kidding me? I thought I was actually under the speed limit. We put on the super soft tyres anyway. But now we have to serve a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I thought I was okay. I seriously thought I was okay as Sanguinius Prime actually passes the safety car, so he's got a long way to travel to catch back up. But I was getting to the stage of getting angry for doing that, but so we see there Sato's actually come into the lane. He came in one lap later. I was actually surprised he didn't come in the same lap, but to make things even better, I'm now back in the lead of the race. But like I said, the drive-through penalty is still to be served, and you cannot serve it under the safety car, which I'm probably a little bit annoyed at that, but rules are rules. Got to abide by them. But yeah, just basically travelling behind the safety car. Sato nearly takes the back of me. That would have been a little bit awkward then, but yeah, we just couldn't really do much. We was just torn to think what we could do next. The safety car comes in. I slow up, but Hyperduce just slammed into the back of myself and tagged Sato as well. But like I said, it was all chaotic. But yeah, I was tempted at this point. Like, should I serve the drive-through straight away, or just go hard for at least a couple of laps and see what we can do? So I decided to push on and see if we could build a gap anyway. Well, mainly Sato. I wasn't thinking of anybody else behind. It was just a case of really pushing the limit. I didn't care if I binned the car. But if I binned the car, that'd be it. But there's Hyperduce, and yeah, Sato's actually copped a bit more front wing damage. So the pole sitters race is just going from bad to worse, and he's on board with Sanguinius Prime. He was actually told to pass Frizy, but I don't think that was happening now. But you see there all the chaos. It's all the front wing damage from Hyperduce, but Fry's probably lagging a little bit as well. But we'll do a little bit further on, coming around La Rascasse. I think that might have been, I'm not sure, one of the McLarens got turned around there, but look at all this carnage. As now Prime gets underway again. And he's on board with SpagBol. This is what he saw. It might have been possibly Hyperduce. I say possibly, it could well have been. So there's more contact right there, and get back down underway, SpagBol does. This was just a case of push, push, push. Yeah, we had a bit of Rich mix up our sleeve. Let's just see what we can do. As now cut back to Sato, coming around the hairpin. But he's just run a little bit wide, and he's just made the front wing even worse. So that's nearly his race done, but at this point, I was so tempted to just keep going, but in the end, I just had to serve it. But thankfully, we managed to stay under the speed limit at this time around. But yeah, this was just a lowly drive through the pit lane. Sato came into the lane as well, so that actually allowed our championship leader, RuthenicBird, to take the lead of the race for the first time ever. So he's had a bit of luck go his way. So, I mean, looking back on it, we didn't fall too far behind. Just ran over the yellow line just a little bit, but we're not too far away from... we could still possibly win this race, even get a podium. they can podium at worst, but the win as best. But yeah, you see now coming around the Novel chicane, we're starting to catch up with Iowa, so I did have some good pace up my sleeve for being a Ferrari powered car, even though the cars are on equal. It's still a damn good car, but got now to lap 26. We're a little bit closer now. Tempted to have a dive up here at the hairpin, but I decided against it, just in case, because I didn't want to ruin my race or ruin Iowa's race. It's a little bit sideways coming out of turn 8, Portier. And again, I maybe had a little look here at the Novel chicane, but decided against it as my teammate is, well, really, what can I say? He's turned around again. What else is new? But it's a bit of a moment with Roxman, and the Sato's been caught up in that. He's actually got a yellow front wing. So this is not making his race any better, and to make matters worse, he just coming around La Rascasse just makes it a little bit more worse. And has to come back into the lane and change his front wing again. But thankfully, Toro Rosso have many front wings still up their sleeve. But now we take a dive bomb up at the hairpin. Got a little bit of damage to the front wing, but managed to get away with it, only just. There might have been a little push in the back. I apologise to Ike Iwas if that was a little bit too forceful, but let's just say, like I said earlier, I was a little bit angry after what happened with the pit lane penalty, as my teammates is back in the lane again. What else? What else is new? They're coming. Here's Sato again, and he's lost his front wing fully this time. Coming around Portier. So his race is just really dropping downhill very fast as he gets by SpagBol there. So he is a lap down, I believe. So he's actually trying to get his lap back. So actually Fries, he got disqualified from the session. I think that may have been because of, I'm not sure if it was going the wrong way or it was something to do with the pit lane or something, holding up the pit lane, I think, from memory. So they're cutting now, you're on lap 29. We are starting to catch SpagBol a little bit. So, I mean, second place is there. I wouldn't, the wing's not definitely out of this. I mean, we just had to get by SpagBol. As Hyperdeuce is now out of the race. Looks like he's had a big crash into back, but getting so close now as Roxburgh starts lagging a little bit. Let's SpagBol through, but at this point, are you serious? Are you dead set serious? There's a series going in the background there, but now Roxburgh lets us through as Hyperdeuce's car, with all the debris following around there. Not following around there, all the debris around there. I now thought I just had to come in and change the front wing, but I said I was angry before. It's now reached boiling point. So now I had to come back into the lane and put on a set. I actually put on a set of, let's say, a little bit of used ultra soft tyres and obviously changed the front wing. I hope we still have front wings after what Sanguinius Prime has done this race. I've lost count of how many times he's actually had to change his front wing, but this was definitely not ideal. I mean, we still would have possibly gone for the win, but now it's just a case of can we salvage a podium. A little bit cautious coming out of the pit lane as just coming out behind Schulte to Aussie there in the Red Bull. But I felt like with the ultra soft tyres with only like, what is it, lap 31, a few laps to go, I felt we had a bit of pace up our sleeve. So now I wasn't keen on mucking around with Schulte as I dive down the inside now at the hairpin, make it a little bit better now compared to what happened with Ike Iwas, but we had a fair gap up the road to Ike Iwas. I'm not sure exactly how far up the road he was, but he was a fair way away. So at least get third, maybe even second on the podium, I would be happy. You see there with just about 16 seconds gap between us as we get a 3-second time penalty for climbing the curbs too much, but just see the run we can get around here. And like I said, this was at boiling point. I was at boiling point, so this was surreal. I didn't care if I binned the car whatsoever. This was just full out racing as we now set the fastest lap of the race, at 13.9. So you could tell I was frustrated then. So, yeah, but I don't think our race is going to get any better as soon as we come around turn 7 and around Portier. But just before we hit the tunnel section, we get disconnected. I mean, that was well and truly our day. It's just one of those days. I mean, the win was there on the line. The podium was there on the line. Well, not much. It's now, my teammate's now out of the race. Looked like he had a bit of a lag moment there. Like he was climbing over somebody's car then. I'm not exactly sure who, but he's on board with SpagBol. Around the Novell chicane. He's currently P2. But there's Sato, a pole sitter, who's out of the race now as well. So he's not really having the greatest days of all now. He probably hates Monaco after all this, but he's just made his front wing a bit more worse, and he's coming around the Novell chicane. Just touches that barrier there, and, well, the rest is history, really. He's now officially out of the race. But in the end, RuthenicBird again wins another race. Had a bit of luck go his way. He wins the Monaco Grand Prix. SpagBol is in second again. And Ikai was actually gets his first podium in Aussie Sim Racing. So congrats to him. But yeah, what can I say? It was just frustrating. One of those races where what could have been. Really, but there's the results there. Schulte Dazi actually got P4. We actually did finish in P5, even though, yeah, it was about 90% of the race we can actually get classified. But yeah, I felt it was fair enough. There's all the, there's plenty of warnings there. Don't you worry about that. At Monaco, you can definitely get a lot of warnings. And probably a few of them would have to be me, but here's the updated driver standings and constructor standings, and RuthenicBird just pulling away a heap now. SpagBol's now up to second. We moved up to P4, so I mean, it wasn't really too bad. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull is now the leader, ahead of 10 points clear of Renault. Toro Rosso's dropping back, but Ferrari are making gains. We're now, well, equal fifth, really, with McLaren. So, yeah, what more can I say? That was just an absolute chaotic race. This is where the video ends today, guys and girls. If you did enjoy, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. Leave a comment down below if you want to talk about anything during the race or that happened during this race. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for plenty more F1 2017 Aussie Sim Racing and probably more video gaming content whatsoever. And if you want to follow me on social media, all the links will be down in the description. So you can follow me on any of my social media pages. But for the moment, guys and girls, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.